Hi, everyone. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report. I'm John, coming to you today with a few tidbits of news and some things that worry me a little bit about what's going on with the grilling of Mr. Herr, who wrote the Special Prosecutor report on the Biden holding of years' worth of confidential documentations that were found in several homes of his, as well as his garage next to the Corvette, and in not so good shape. But anyway, I watched it this morning. It's still going on, I believe, but it's upsetting for me to watch Jerry Nadler and Schiff are at it again. They're on this committee, and they are bending over backwards to not only insult Mr. Herr, who I think has done a good job on what he has uncovered and his decision not to present this to a jury, because in his estimation, the jury would just view him as a senile old man and not prosecute him. Anyway, guilt or innocence is not based on this report. It has not gone to a trial. The special prosecutor looked at it and decided it wasn't worth taking it to a trial. And these two idiots, along with their Democratic colleagues from Maryland and California, have made a mockery of this man today and his decisions, while the two-tiered justice system exists. And we all know that Nadler and Schiff lied their rear ends off trying to impeach President Trump on false information. Schiff has still not come out with what he said that he had in evidence, because there was none. They built this whole thing on a fake dossier that was purchased by Hillary Clinton back in the time to get him out of office. Not because he wasn't doing his job like we're experiencing now. We all have eyes and ears to see what he can do. Well, they're laying their hats on, oh, well, this is all false, because if you watch the State of the Union address, this guy is so sharp and right on top of everything. Really? Did you watch the same State of the Union, State of Confusion address that I had seen? No, because he didn't prove anything other than the fact that he can still stumble through and try to save his career and build his legacy. And then it comes out at this hearing today, I guess that Herr knew this, that he was paid $8 million for a book deal. And this is the book deal that he set with the ghostwriter and gave him verbally and in writing, and it was on film or on tape until it was erased by this ghostwriter, the information that he had stored there. He's trying to build a legacy of what we don't know, because he, in his entire 50 years in public office, has accomplished next to nothing. But division in this country has been driven by him and his administration. All of the problems at the border are directly on Joe Biden's shoulders, and he wants to make it sound like it was his predecessor that did all this, and that's not true. This started with Obama, and actually Obama was better at the border than Biden is. The Afghan withdrawal, I mean, if you look at the failures against the accomplishments, the list is long. But yet we have to sit through watching this stuff. It was on Fox News, and I'm sure that CNN and all those other characters carried it as well, because they know that they are defending the hell out of Joe Biden, and this is pure, unadulterated election interference in my book. There's no doubt about it. If they're going to take excerpts from what Nadler had to say today and what Schiff had to say today, and the guy from Maryland has to say, all the Democrats that are coming out to protect and shield this administration and this president, it's wrong. And it's just as wrong for the Republican side to keep pushing this impeachment. Not at this time. Don't do this. We're in an election year, and people are hurting. They're hurting at the grocery stores. They're hurting at the gas pumps. They're hurting in many different ways. Insurances, car insurance, homeowners insurance. Buying a home is almost out of the question for the average person anymore because of interest rates. The inflation is out of control, and they keep telling us that it's in control, and it's only at this percent and that percent, and then they end up giving you job numbers that are totally false, and then 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, they revise them to the real numbers, and oh, well, we fooled them once, let's fool them again. It's craziness. Not much else going on today, but that was upsetting to me to listen to these morons that we've elected to go in and do a job that can't get it done because of the infighting and the ridiculous protection racket that they're running around the Biden family is unbelievable. We know now, we're fully aware that you don't pay family members millions of dollars out of foreign countries and not get access to the vice president. And that's what they were doing. They were selling access, and he is arrogant enough to think that he could have talked Obama into anything that we needed. And then he's on film denying in the Ukraine, and if they didn't fire the prosecutor that was looking into his son in Burisma, that he was going to withhold those millions of dollars in foreign aid. It's on film. All these news channels have run it at one time or another, and now they're acting like it never happened. We have a serious problem with the two-party system that this country is using right now in getting the job done. Fortunately, people and some new generations are waking up to the fact that we're being lied to on a daily basis. And we watch these, when they start talking about billions of dollars going to this one and going to that one, darn well that that's going to make a circle back. A part of it will to somebody. So why can't we look into that instead of looking into stupid paper storages by past presidents? And the other thing that pissed me off about this thing today was he was a vice president without the immunity to go ahead and do this. Trump took the documents that he thought were his, but he was president, and he has, at that point, the ability to do that. JoJo was a vice president for Obama. This is when all this happened. And he was a private citizen at the time that he was writing this book and used the confidential information from some of these documents to give to his ghostwriter. Long and short of it, it's proven, it's in the special prosecutors. I guess they released the documents of it the transcripts last night. They didn't want that coming out before the State of the Union, did they? Because they're all claiming, every one of these Democrats that spoke this morning started out with, he's proven himself at the State of the Union. Everybody knows now how sharp he is. No, we don't know that. We still see him flub through sentences that are unintelligible in some cases. And yeah, everybody can lose a little memory with age. We know that. That's not what we're chiding about. That's not what the whole thing was about. I think that this prosecutor, Herr, was very, very kind to him, and they're accusing him of maligning the president because he's a registered Republican. The man is above reproach. Look at his resume, and now they're going to make him the bad guy for everything that Joe and Hunter got away with. And that's what they're doing. They're getting away with the same crimes that they want to punish Donald Trump with. And for Nadler to come up with about Letitia James's deal there in New York and say that he owes this kind of money because he's guilty. There was no trial. It was a kangaroo court with a judge that grandstanded and a prosecutor that wanted to make a name for herself. Period. End of story. But yet we have to listen to this again. It's distraction. It's fear. They want you afraid, and they want you distracted from what's really going on in this country. And it's a darn shame that they're getting away with it. But what they don't realize is we, the people, are starting to wake up. There are a couple of generations that were on their side at one point, but are now realizing that they have been lied to. When they wake, as they are, they're going to have a very difficult time in getting away with the nonsense that they pull on a daily basis. It's a darn shame. Real estate. We met with the realtors, and we know the inventory is low, but also how in the world can first-time buyers afford the interest rates that are on these homes now? Or the homeowner's insurance if they are lucky enough to get a deal and purchase it. These are the things that are going wrong in this country. These are the things that need to be addressed. The border situation, I'm sick and tired of talking about it. Everyone with a brain and an ounce of common sense understands that the border should not be as wide open as it is. Everyone with a brain and a monicum of common sense understands that the drug problem in this country is coming through the southern border. Proven. But no one wants to make an attempt to shut this down. Where does that lie? At the feet of Joe Biden, who has the executive pen that can sign that document and close it tomorrow. They don't want it closed. There's a reason. Either they're building an army in this country, a secret army, or they want a terrorist attack inside our country so we can go to war and support Raytheon and all of these other companies they're part of the war machine. We don't need, our children don't need, and our families don't need more loss of life due to stupid wars that end up with no results other than getting ready for the next encounter. Sorry to be so angry today, but I should not have watched these hearings. But we need to. We need to be aware of what they're pulling and what's going on and when it's going to happen. We don't know when it's going to happen. This is why I tell you every day on this broadcast, please be prepared. Get water, get bottled water. If you don't have a well at your house, stock up on water. Get some gallon jugs, fill them, store them in a nice, dry, cool place, and you'll have some. Stock up on foodstuffs. Find out what it is you like. Look for the deals and buy extra and get it put up and make sure that you can feed yourself and your family and get some protection, because we don't know when this next shoe is going to drop with this nonsense. The election interference that's going on is being done right in front of your eyes at these committee meetings and Senate hearings and all this other nonsense that's going on. We sent them to Washington to balance the budget, not spend over the budget. And we sent them to Washington to do the business of the people, and they get caught up in something that has no relevance to anything that will help the population of this country, the legal population of this country. They've let in 11 million people, and we're giving them benefits and transportation and hotel rooms, while we have citizens living in tents on sidewalks and veterans that can't get a meal. Enough said on that. Wake up, watch what's going on. Don't get blindsided. This is not a good situation. This is not going to be a fun election, and it's already rearing its head to be ugly. And we have to go all the way to November with this. They paint Donald Trump to be the worst person in the world. Not true. They lie straight-faced while they watch the suffering of people that should not be suffering. But I guess if we all move to the Ukraine, then they'll take care of us. What is the urgency to send this little crap over there another $61 billion? Explain that to me. Oh, Putin is a bad person. This is why we have to do this. They better be damn careful, because it was like Yamamoto said after Pearl Harbor, my biggest fear is that you poked a sleeping bear and he's going to be angry and retaliate. Well, the people in this country have been the sleeping bear, and I believe that if we all get together, wake up, start seeing what they're trying to pull off with these U.S. oligarchs that we have, trying to sell our farms off, buy our farms to make them useless, and what we can't buy, they're letting the Chinese buy. Well, maybe all these schools should start, instead of indoctrinating people about gender dysphoria and things of that nature, maybe they should start teaching them Mandarin or another Chinese dialect, because we're heading in that direction. And you don't have to believe me. You can turn on any news channel and see it's all smoke and mirrors. And they're trying to drive us again to ending up with Biden in the White House so they can get rid of him and place in. What scares even the Democrats is the fact that Kamala Harris has turned out to be the disappointment of the years. So now they're afraid if something happens to him, we got her to deal with. And other than cackling, I don't know what she's good for in that office. So on the international side, They found out today that this dual citizen, American and Israeli citizen, Chen, who was believed to be one of the hostages, was found out that he was killed on October 7th and his body taken into Gaza. So that one will not be coming home. But yet Joe wants, Netanyahu just to give up. Well, I hope they don't. Hamas needs to be dealt with and dealt with harshly. I'm sorry. If someone broke into your house and decided to, wipe out your family, are you just going to sit to the side and say, oh, well, that's okay? We'll talk about peace and give you whatever you want. Biden is no friend of Israel. I don't care what he says. He's not a friend of Israel. And for the Jewish people in the United States to continue to vote democratically on his side is a mistake and incorrect thinking. So let's take a long, hard look at the upcoming election. I'm sure that there's a fix-in somewhere that's already been planned. But if we get loud enough and speak a lot and inform the people that we're aware of what's going on, maybe those things will change. I can only hope and pray for that. I can only hope and pray that we in the United States, all of us, learn to get along and not judge people by where they come from, the color of their skin, or anything else, because that's old world stuff. We're more educated now than ever, and we should understand that these things mean nothing. We're all God's children and human beings that should treat each other with the exact respect that you hope to get in return. Get on your knees and say to God, thank you for everything you've given us and the opportunity to live in this land. And please help us get through this situation we're in that has been driven through politics and through a broken justice system and broken schools. We don't need a Department of Education run by the government, because when the government gets a hold of anything, they mess it up. And for God's sake, write and call your Congress people and your Senate people and voice your displeasure of them spending your tax dollars overseas and not taking care of our own infrastructures. It's just dead wrong. But they continue to print more money. We are broke. And to bring in this many illegal gate crashers, I don't care which border they come from, they're not bringing any redeeming possibility to this country other than chaos. And when you start putting 10, 11, 12 million people into a society and pay them not to be productive members, that's causing chaos. It has nothing to do with the MAGA people, Donald Trump, or anyone else. Joe Biden is the one that did this, or whoever is pulling his strings are the one that we need to look at and say, this is wrong. We have to stop this. We have to get a balanced budget. You look at the states in this country that are doing well, all have a balanced budget because their state constitution demands it. Our Constitution should as well. But you have two-party system here, and both parties on both sides of the aisle are pigs with your money. It's not their money to be giving overseas to anyone else until this country's problems are taken care of. Well, enough ranting and raving. It's a beautiful day outside. Kaiser and I are going to go for a walk. We were out earlier, did a little preparation for getting the farm set to get the vegetable gardens in and the greenhouse set up. And we actually even pulled a tree stump out this morning. And we've been out on the tractor today. So it's 60 degrees here, sunny, a beautiful day. And sorry I didn't get to you earlier this morning, but I got wound up watching several of the channels that were flipping through that hearing that's going on with Mr. Herr. It's sad. I'm sure that if you all tune in, there'll be several broadcasts like mine that'll talk about this tonight on YouTube, especially on Rumble. And you can peruse through what the lefties are saying over on MSNBC, NBC, CBS, ABC. They'll all have their take, and then Fox, I don't know which way they're going to go. It depends on whether or not Mr. Cavuto decides to do the analysis of it, and then we know which way that'll go. But I'm sure Tucker Carlson will have something. I'm sure that we'll hear from Marsha Blackburn and a few of the other good senators we have. It's a sad state of affairs that, you can't go to Washington and have any kind of a rally there to voice your displeasure, because then you'll be accused of an insurrection, which is another made-up thing that we're now beginning to get a glimpse behind the curtain there. And I think that Pelosi's up to her neck in it, as well as a couple of other people like her buddy Schiff. That's a real Schiff show right there. That guy, that smirking little creep, should not have been allowed to question a man of that integrity this morning the way he did. I'm sorry. And Nadler's, he's just as bad. But I think he's one prime rib away from a heart attack anyway. Look at him. Sloppy man, sloppy thoughts, and asinine questions. And then he gets rude with the guy. Okay, I'm going to stop now. Anyway, let me tell you a little fun story. A man walks into a bar, and he says to the bartender, I'd like to have 3 of those beers on tap, please. And 3 mugs were poured and put in front of him. And he was sipping from each mug of those 3 mugs until they were depleted. Paid his bill, left, and he did this for about a month. And then the last time he was there, or the next time he comes in, the bartender said, I know it's none of my business, but, you ordered 3 drinks, and you take a sip from each one until they're all gone. But you're losing the flavor, and you're losing the coolness and everything that of these beers by doing it that way. Wouldn't it be better just to buy, 1 mug at a time? He said, well, I'd like to do that. He said, but you see, I just moved here from Texas, and I met, my 2 brothers and I met every day for a beer, and we all had 1 beer and went home after work. And he said, when I moved away, I told them, I'll still have a beer with you, and this is how we're going to do it. And the guy goes, well, okay, I understand that. So the next day he comes in, and he goes, I'd like to have 2 mugs of beer, please. And the bartender said, oh, my condolences. I'm so sorry. Did you lose one of your brothers? He goes, no, my wife decided to join the Baptist church, and we're not allowed to drink, so I'm just doing this for my brothers. It was a cute story. I know it's a little sad, but you have to find humor in this country today, and you have to find humor within yourself, because if you can't laugh at what's going on, it's going to kill us all. It's a shame, but we need to find humor in each other. We need to help each other. We need to pray for each other. And with that, I'm expecting the music any second, because I need to get out of here and get some more sunshine. And there it is. So with that, I'm going to say we'll see you tomorrow. And thanks for tuning into the Kaiser Report. And please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because our subscriptions we need. And comments. I'd love to hear your opinion on any of this. So please comment below and share it with your friends. Until tomorrow, we'll be